Welcome back to the O Hockey Show. Now today, you already know this, so I'm not going to surprise you with the answer. We're talking about the Vancouver Canucks, and you know that because you clicked on the video that said what I'm doing, so I don't need to introduce it to you. So let's jump right into it. Who is the Canucks' worst contract on the team? So let's start off with Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Now, this is a deal that has always confused me. Last season, he gets 29 points and he's a +5, right? So Ekman-Larsson's always been billed as a offensive defenseman. As you can tell from his years past with the Coyotes, his career best being 55, that was like 6-7 years ago. At this point, he was 24 the last year with the Coyotes, 30, 44, 42 is that, and then the year before that, the year before that, he had his career best 55 points. Now, the thing that confuses me the most about Oliver Ekman-Larsson's contract is that at no point in his career was he worth $7.2 million, especially when he signed that contract. I would understand if this was like a Nazem Kadri situation where his career best 55 points is when he signed 6 years for 7.2. I would understand that, but he signed this the year when he got 30 or 24 points, depending on when he signed it. I'm not entirely sure. That is not $7.2 million. Not even 55 points would be, unless you really want to keep your captain around. And Oliver Ekman-Larsson used to be an elite defenseman in the league. But during those years, not even at his career best would I put him at that. I guess if you're a foolish GM that you want to keep around a guy, maybe. But I would never say he's worth that. And they signed him at the tail end of these numbers here, right here. Makes no sense to me, and this contract still has 5 years on it till 2027 for $7.2 million. You know who gets paid just a little bit more than him? Quinn Hughes, and that guy is 68 points for the Canucks as defenseman. A guy that could easily break through a ceiling. I mean, he's already broken through a ceiling, but he's going to be one of the top offensive guys in the league. I wouldn't be surprised if he starts getting 70 points more often once this team gets a little bit more energy and offense in them. Oliver Ekman-Larsson's contract is bad now, and I can only imagine what it's going to be like in 5 years' time, because he's already falling off. He's already fallen off. I don't want to see what's going to happen in the future, especially seeing how the Canucks as a whole is going. So, I don't know. It's a pretty bad deal. That makes no sense to me because it never seemed warranted. Next, we got Tyler Myers. Now, I guess in the NHL, there is some sort of there's sometimes you get bonuses for certain things, such as like the Stanley Cup bonus, that if you win a Stanley Cup, you get paid a little bit more. That's certain things, right? And I guess Tyler Myers and him and Jamie Alexiak have the big guy bonus. Those guys get paid more money because they're bigger guys, which isn't more effective. He is 6'8". I mean, he's huge, but $6 million is way more than he deserves, right? Now, I would say this is a guy that never really deserved it. I would say at this point in his career, he's probably worth like $3 million. At the most, I would say in his career, I would say maybe 4 to 5, especially when he was younger, which, by the way, his first year in the NHL, he hasn't gotten to the same points. Again, he got 37. His closest was 36, I believe. So that's something interesting to take note of. Isn't that weird how that happens sometimes? Like Teemu Selanne and Tyler Myers. I mean, I'm sure other guys too, but like their first year was their best and they never got back to it. Kind of odd. But anyways, so Tyler Myers, he had 18 points last year over 82 games. Now, what I read, which I didn't know, is that he was apparently offensively a better defenseman than more than half the league, which I never thought, but according to like this advanced stats that he was, which I don't listen to, but whatever. And one thing that doesn't make any sense to me, well, that's not the way I wanted to word it, is that he was a +15, which is a career best. So his career best, this last season for plus minus as a defenseman, that's not very good. He was a +15. And for most of his career, he has been offensively good, defensively terrible. And this last year, it kind of flipped, I guess. And I guess that kind of makes sense. So if you take a look back, last season, he played 55 games, had 21 points. The year before, 68 games, 21 points as well. And then the year before, he had 80 games for 32 points. he was playing less games in the last few years and getting way more points than how he played this year, which is an interesting thing. Obviously, his offensive giftedness is falling, right? However, somehow his defensiveness is going up if you just listen to plus minus like I do. So that's an interesting thing. Now this guy signed till 2024, so he's got 2 years left at $6 million, and it's not really the worst thing in the world because I do like the idea of having a huge guy on your defense, but I like Jamie Alexiak more because he's 6'7", and he's more all around. He's more all around. I feel like he drives a little bit more offense and he's a little bit more impactful than Tyler Myers. So I don't know. This contract isn't really that bad. In my eyes, it's not the worst, especially since there's only 2 years left on it. 2 years left, and he still has his size, so regardless of anything, he can still hit people and be a huge force on the ice. But at some point, you got to think a guy at 6'8", especially as the league is getting faster and more skilled, Tyler Myers is probably going to start being less effective, especially, sure, he's 6'8", and he could destroy someone like Cole Caulfield or, Alex DeBrincat in a fight, but when that guy's skating up the wing and he gets past the last guy and it's one-on-one with that guy, you got to think DeBrincat or Caulfield are going to easily blow past that guy just with a swift move. And that's not even counting guys like Zegras or something who's a little taller than that and can do anything. So Tyler Myers, to me, is just going to be completely wiped out from being useful. And it's not terrible, but it's not good. But let's move on to an interesting one for me. So we got Brock Besser, who has got 3 years left till 2025 at $6.65 million. Now, annually average value. So, the thing about this one is that, once again, it kind of reminds me of Oliver Ekman-Larsson, where I would say he was never worth this amount of money. Now, same thing goes for Tyler Myers. He was never really worth $6 million. Maybe if you go off, say he signs after his rookie year with 37 points, as a big guy, 37 points on the Sabres of all teams, is like, that guy's going to be good. Let's throw some money at him, right? I could understand that, and then he doesn't fizzle out, or he fizzles out. He's at the end of his career and he's already fizzled out. So I don't know why anyone's hating him. Anyways, whatever. But Brock Besser, 2025, $6.65 million. Now, I've always thought Brock Besser would turn into a superstar offensive goal scorer. I thought he would turn into a big goal scorer. And I still think he can. I haven't given up on him, and I don't think a lot of people have. I don't think Canuck fans have. But the thing about Brock Besser is I just don't think he has the right type of players around him. But at the same time, when I say that, he does, though. He has JT Miller. He has Bo Horvat. He has Elias Pettersson. He's got these guys around him that would feed him the puck. So the other thing that scares me is the fact that, his numbers have just never changed, really. Let's just look. Last year, 71 games, 46 points. 56 game, 44 points. 57, 45, and then 69, 56, 62, 55. That's his career right there. That is his entire full season career. He had one part where he played 2 games or something. Don't worry about that. This is his career right here. This has never been a $6.65 million player, but at the same time, he's young. I mean, not as young as he used to be, but it's just a contract that, once again, it's like he almost is in the ballpark of being paid perfectly, but he's just showing he's not anything special. Especially when it comes to goal scoring, he's supposed to be a goal scorer, and guys like Cole Caulfield are scoring more goals than him, and he's on a terrible team. And he's playing less games than him last year. So, just an interesting contract Brock Besser has that I just don't think he's earned his way up to yet. I think with how he was down here, I would have said he would have made more sense if you signed him to a 3-year for $4 million and see if he earns that $6 to $7 or $8 million. But he's never gotten to it, and in 3 years, I just don't. I feel like he has the potential. But at the same time, he hasn't shown anything, and I always say, winners find ways to win, losers find ways to lose, and he hasn't shown that he is a winner, and he hasn't shown that he has what it takes to be that offensive goal-scoring powerhouse, especially with the talents around him. So, I gotta say, in 3 years, this guy might be only getting in the 30s points. Maybe he has a terrible 20-point year, and he's just completely erased from history. I wouldn't be. It might be. We might have a Sean Monahan situation on our hands here. A guy that seems like he's got a lot of potential and just fizzles into nothing. And it's sad because I like Brock Besser. I also like Sean Monahan, but that's just some players turn out like that. So if I was to name, though, the worst contract on this team, I would say the only reason that it's not the main problem with Oliver Ekman-Larsson's contract is that it's for so long. He's got 5 years left, still falling off. If this was his last year, it'd be like, okay, whatever. If it was in 2 years, it'd be like, okay, we can live, we can deal. Maybe we could get this away. But for 5 more years for 7.2, that is ridiculous. No one's going to trade for that. Like, not even the Coyotes would pick that up for a first-round pick or something. That is such a long contract for way too much money. That's going to bring absolutely nothing to a team. And I just don't know. I don't even know how he signed it in the first place. I know why he signed it, but I don't know why anyone offered it to him. So this deal makes absolutely no sense to me. He would never earn that. I get Besser's. I understand why he would be paid that, and I still think he could earn it. Tyler Myers, it's only 2 years left, and he still is a big guy, and his career best defensively was this year, and he's a defenseman, so that's what matters. So I guess that's not really bad, but Oliver Ekman-Larsson just keeps falling off, and there's no stopping him. So I guess that's all I have to say about Oliver Ekman-Larsson having the worst contract on the Canucks. So I guess if you like this video, please pick up your free subscription by hitting that red subscribe button down below. Yes, I like the Coyotes. No, I don't like Oliver Ekman-Larsson. I used to. His brother is cool. I saw him on the Roadrunners a lot. Yes, leave a like, not a dislike. Go down below in the comments and tell me who has the worst contract on the Vancouver Canucks. Out of these guys, or is it somebody else? For the most part, I think the Canucks are pretty solid. I don't think they have a lot of really bad deals. The more I kept trying to find, the only reason I put Besser on the board is because I didn't find anyone else. I wanted to put another defenseman, but they don't really have that many too high defensemen. They're not really overpaying anyone, so I was like, Besser it is. So that's all I have to say. Until next time, I've been your dapperly dressed host, Owen. Too sweet. I hope you have an amazing day, and ta-ta for now.